go in here and you find component libraries. Make sure to pin that. So now we've created our own navigation menu, and it works across multiple screens. It really does not take that long to create your own, and this will be across all of your apps. Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Hess, and hopefully my sound is louder. I got told that it was not as loud last time, so now it's a little louder. Hopefully it won't be too loud. But today I wanted to work on TabList, modern controls, component libraries, kind of talk about all of this. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm more here to give you ideas. So if we look at the modern controls, right, we have the TabList view, and we can add a TabList in here. We can put our own items in there if you have a data source. We want there to be arrays of information for each of the tabs because you want a name and you want, what it's going to do. For me, it's going to navigate. Now, there are some issues right now, but maybe this will get fixed in the future. But the idea is you do name, first screen in double quotes, and then screen 1. And then you do a squiggly bracket, another comma, name, second screen 2. And let's see, what am I missing? I think it's just telling me I don't have a screen 2, so let's add a new screen. There we go, we got screen 2. Now it removed the red squiggly, okay? So now we have some numbers in here. This is probably just some kind of bug. So if you come to the right side over here at fields and you change it to name, so what we can do now is on the on select, we can say navigate to tab list 1.selected.screen. So now we have first screen, second screen. This goes to screen number 2. So let's put in a big text box in here. This is screen 2. Just so we can identify it since we don't have a full app. And this is screen 1. All right, so we have first screen, screen 1, second screen, screen 2. But now if we copy paste this, copy paste in screen 2, you'll notice that it doesn't keep the underlined object when you navigate. So it's kind of confusing right now. I feel like this is a bug. This is just something that Microsoft has done. Maybe they're not expecting people to use the tabs for different screens. Let's say if we wanted it all on one screen. So we're on screen 1, right? We're on screen 1. Instead of doing navigating to screens, let's see if we can do the visibility property. All right, so I'll just do a couple rectangles. Let's see. Okay, so instead of changing screens from screen 1 to screen 2, let's try and do the visibility of our rectangles. So we have rectangle 1. Let's go ahead and label these. We did the other one, so this is rect 1. Okay, now let's work on the visibility of the 2. So now we'll change this to visibility. Could be rectangle, this is just like a variable. And what I'm gonna do here is I'll just set it like as a variable. We'll say rect1. And this one will be rect2. All right, so we're just setting the visibility variable. We could call this VAR. And so now what we do is we go to on select. What we'll do is we'll set another variable, let's say variable show rectangle. We can set it as TabList 1.selected.var visibility, right? So now we're setting a third variable, whatever the variable is selected there. And maybe you have a different way to do this. This is just how I'm doing it very quickly. So now that we have one variable from the 2, for the visibility of rectangle 1, if var show rectangle is equal to rect1, then it's true, else it's false. And here on this rectangle, we'll say if it's equal to rect2. Let's press play. All right, so there we go. Now we have it showing between rectangle 1 and rectangle 2. And you know, we could really do a third screen too if we really want to. So let's just do a third screen just to kind of show that. And let's see, third screen. And this is rect3. So now we just set the visibility property on the third rectangle to if the variable is rect3, then it's true, it's false. Then we press play. Second screen, third screen. So we can see each of those workings. Now I did add like a little variable here so I could see what my variable is. So variable show rect just kind of shows me what the text is. So now just imagine if these rectangles were forms, you could show different forms, you could show galleries, you know, if you wanted one to be a gallery, but I just used rectangles for this example. So right now, trying to do it across screens, it kind of doesn't work right. I'm sure Microsoft will fix it in the future. But let's say, okay, we have this nice tab list that Microsoft makes for us, but what if we want to create our own? That's what I really wanted to get into, and that was creating a component and maybe putting it in our component library. Now, if you come over here to components, you may be able to see that you can add components here on your Power App. But maybe you don't want a component just for your Power App. Maybe you want a component for all your Power Apps in your entire business, and you can share with other people. That's where it gets powerful. So let's go back, navigate back. And here we are in our Power Apps. If you click on Apps over here, now Microsoft moved some things. They used to say Component Library right here. But now if you go to More, if you look here, it's still not here. You got to really dig deep, discover all. You go in here and you find Component Libraries. Make sure to pin that. And now we have component libraries on our left side. Now I have one that I uploaded off the internet, but yeah, that was done a while ago. So now let's create a new component library. Maybe instead of doing everything the Microsoft way, we have our own company theme. So we'll call this the company theme. Now this is for you to come up with. I'm just throwing ideas at you because that's what I'm best at, is giving you ideas, and then you guys create better stuff than me. So we have a company theme component library, and this is going to house all of our components, and then we can drag and drop them in our Power Apps. You know, why do you want the out-of-the-box stuff from Microsoft? I realize it's low-code, no-code faster, but if you create a component and reuse it over and over and over and over again, then it's yours and it's branded for your company. And maybe that's more what you want, or your department, or however you want it. So now we have a component here. I'll increase the width to 1280. I feel like that's the average normal computer monitor width. I mean, we can adjust that later on. Now, right, so in here, if we go to modern, of course, Microsoft has their own header bar, right? And you could just drag and drop a header bar in here, but honestly, I want to create my own. And let's see, the height here is 75. So I'm going to copy that also. So for my component, I'm going to do 75. So I'm going to add a rectangle instead of doing the fill property because I want like a little bit of a shadow. I'm going to create my own shadow. So let's see, rectangle in classic. I'm going to add it in here, and it's going to be 71. Give it a little bit more, and it's going to be the entire width of the component. And I can just say, you know, for the width of the rectangle, I can tell it you are parent.width. Or I could say component1.width. But that way, if it gets resized, that the rectangle extends. And now for the component, I'm going to change the fill property to like a gray, like a light gray. Like, so you can't see it right here, but when we go back to the Power App, we're going to be able to see it better. Okay, so yeah, we created that. We could add our own little login icon here if we wanted to. You know, if you wanted to have your own picture. So picture, a media. We could do just like Microsoft did if you really wanted to have that in there. And then you would just say user dot image. And so that's the same thing that Microsoft did over there. They also added a border radius. So if we come up here and we do a border radius, and it's not here, I don't think, but let's say we do it over here on the right side. Maybe we'll make it 50. Maybe 200. There we go. So let's do a title. Maybe we'll do it on the left side like Microsoft did it. So we'll just add a text. And I'm going to stay classic. I mean, we could go modern, but if you do modern right now, you can't adjust the colors, right? So I can't adjust the colors of the text. So insert a classic text label. For the text label, we will use a new custom component property. So here I'm going to say title. It's going to be the display name input, and it's a text. Okay. So I just pretty much kept everything default. It's called title. Maybe title is not a good name. We maybe want to rename that header title. That'll work. Header title. Okay. It says there could be problems. It'll be fine. We didn't change much. Now for the text here, we're going to say component1 dot header title. There we go. Took a little bit, but it's working. So now that is set as the header title. So you can write this in. You could change it to your screen name. We'll get into that. Now let's change the colors. Maybe this rectangle, our company is maybe like this, maybe like a light green. That's the theme of our company. And now we want some buttons here. Maybe we want the buttons to be right underneath there. So we will increase the component size to 100. Give it a little bit more space. We have the gray part there. Maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe it's 115. Okay, now we're going to create some buttons under here. Insert button. Now maybe here we would want to go modern. I'm not sure. Let's see how much we can get done with the modern buttons. So we have a modern button here. 1, 2, 3. All right, and so we'll make these. This is going to say screen 1. We have 3 buttons, screen 1, screen 2, and screen 3. Now you could do just like we did the title and make a component custom property so we can rename these. Maybe we'll do that after we get this done. But on the select, what I want to do is I want this to navigate between screens. So I'm going to do new custom property. I'm going to say nav screen 1. And the property type is going to be input. The data type is going to be screen. Okay? And I'm going to do that 3 times. Okay, so now on each of our buttons, let's see, the on select is going to be, this says navigate to component 1.screen.nav screen 1, the name of our variable. And so on button 2, navigate to screen 2, our variable, nav screen 2. On button 3, navigate to nav screen 3. So each one of those navigates to our custom property of type screen. All right, so I'm back to my old one where we have our screens, etc., and our rectangles. But now, how do we get that component in from our component library? So on the left side over here, you see the plus where we do insert. At the very bottom, and my head's in the way. Hold on, let me move me. At the very bottom here, I've moved myself. You see the get components, get more components? That's what we're going to do. Now here's my old one. Here's my company theme, my component 1. I never renamed it. We're going to import that. All right, so I've imported that. Go to classic, library components. I have my component here. Now you can see this is now showing up here, and obviously the size is all messed up. So we had a size problem, but I'm going to leave that in the video because I want you guys to see how I fix things. So on this button here, I'm going to say this is rectangle 1 we'll change that to rectangle1.height. Let's see if this will fix it. I realize it's 71 now, but let's just see if that fixes it. I'm going to remove the fill also for now. I'll make that clear. All right, so I just resized it there. Now that's fitting in there. Now we have our new component library, right? And we have our buttons. They don't do anything yet. This is branded for us. Maybe we want to fix the picture. So now on the component in nav screen 1, on the right side here, right here, nav screen 1, we'll change this to screen 2. Oh no, that one's screen 1. The second button is screen 2. And we don't have a third screen. We'll do a header, footer, just so we know this is the third screen. And this one we'll do screen 3. So now when we click on the buttons and we go to screen 2. So we want that component on each screen. Insert component. All right. Okay. Now we have our own custom navigation menu. Now what's really neat in these modern buttons that Power Apps or Microsoft has given us is we have this type over here, which is primary. We can set it to transparent, subtle, secondary, etc. I'm going to use that in my component. So up here in the property dropdown, it goes by appearance. So this is obviously probably a bug. It goes by appearance. On the right side, it goes by type. In the components, I'm going to create a new custom property. And it's going to be button type is the name. And I'm going to do text. And this is going to be button type 1, actually. Because I want 1 for each of buttons. Button type 1, I'm going to do button type 2, and then button type 3. Let's see if this works like I wanted to. Okay, so now this is going to be component 1 dot button type 1. This one will be button type 2. And button type 3. 2. Okay, now I'm going to publish, and this is going to show, the changes are going to show up on my app. All right, now let's see if this works. If I change this to primary, you see how it lights up? So now I'll take this copy. All right, so, but on screen 2, the primary will be here. And this we can just make blank. On this one, primary, I'll put text in here. And so we have screen 1. This is going to be our home. So header title is home. Screen 2, we don't really know what this screen is about, but this is screen 2. And finally, this one is screen 3. So now we've created our own navigation menu. And it works across multiple screens. People were asking, you know, oh, I just wish the tab list would work. Like, create your own. It really does not take that long to create your own. And this will be across all of your apps. You're still dealing with low code, no code. You're the more than a citizen developer. You're the pro user now. So create some components for yourself. This is how I would create navigation menus. I would brand it for my company. I'd brand one. I'd have different colors. I'd have, you know, all kinds of shadows, all kinds of things. But this is how you want to brand things for your company. So as new functionality comes out for modern buttons, we can start using these in our components, and make sure to use that component library. Microsoft did change where that location is. I showed you where that was. But hopefully this is helpful. This came up from other questions. You know, people were asking, How do I add this to my tab list? How do I make my tab list do this? And how do I make my tab list do that? Well, if you're just trying to do a navigation menu, recreate it for that. If you want a tab list to read off your data, then you can do that too. But this was just an idea. Hopefully this helps. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. My name is Andrew Hess. I'll see you next time.